0.15%. Now let's get to our conversation. As we go through the end of this year, more MRS filling stations in Lagos and Ogun State join in dispensing petrol produced by Dangote Petroleum Refinery at 739 naira per litre. Motorists have started boycotting retail outlets that sell the product at higher prices. Now, this has compelled other stations to lower their petrol prices by about 100 naira per litre, an amount that is far below their cost of purchase, indicating the severity of the price war in the downstream oil sector. Last week, Dangote Refinery shocked depot owners and marketers when it slashed the gantry price of petrol by 129 naira from 828 naira to 699 naira per litre. During a recent press briefing, the president of Dangote Group, Mr. Liko Dangote, said he had some information that some marketers plan to keep pump price high despite the reduction in the gantry price. Consequently, Mr. Dangote vowed to enforce the new price regime with MRS selling petrol at 739 naira from last Tuesday. Now, let's look at some critical issues raised here, and of course, other developments in Nigeria's oil and gas industry, the focus on downstream. My guest is Mr. Dan Kunle. He's an oil and gas business consultant with over 20 years experience in Nigeria's energy sector. He served as technical advisor to the Minister of Energy and special advisor to the Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprises. He has expertise in energy policy, investment and sustainable development within the oil and gas industry. I have him in the studio live for this conversation. Good afternoon, Mr. Kunle, and it's good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Compliment of the season.
I wish you the same.
Compliment of the season to all our viewers.
Yes, that's a good way to start.
Wishing us the very best in 2026.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kunle. You know, like my introduction says, I think it's a good time. It's Christmas, it's in time of love, and we've seen the price of fuel coming down. But first, I'd like you to take us through what you make of this price war, in quotes. Some say it's normal in a deregulated market for us to see this shifts in pricing. But tell us, in your own understanding, what do you make of this 790 today, 820 tomorrow, and the flip-flop that we see in that price range?
Yes. Well, let's firstly be, we are happy at least for the time being.
Of course.
Even though we have some marketers or retailers that have refused to adjust their price downward.
Maybe what they
to reflect. Exactly. Now you can see if it is to adjust price upward, you will see within 1 hour, all their stations across the country will have adjusted upward. Now it's difficult for them to adjust downward. which now tells you that market dynamism is always like this. It's human being that we are relating with. It's not inorganic material we are relating with. You can see the supplier now, or the marketer, the owners of the petrol station. You can see how reluctant they are to adjust their price downward to reflect Dangote, MRS, and all the people who have complied with the 739 or 740, as the case may be. You can see how difficult it is for them to come downward now. So that shows that that is where the regulator has a job. The midstream, downstream regulator has a job. He must be able to find a template with which he will be able to intervene at periods like this. So that's what happened, and I'm very happy for the Dangote Refinery and the MRS and the associate of MRS that have complied with this rule. It's good for the country, even though to a large extent we should just be expecting a stable pricing regime for the time being. Yeah, stable pricing regime.
My understanding is that if there is a flip or a change in price of crude, it might also affect our pump price. I don't know if that's...
Yes. Now, here is the mix. It's a mix.
Okay.
If you have sufficient crude from within Nigeria, or from within ECOWAS, Gulf of Guinea, from within Gulf of Guinea, Angola, like that, from Senegal, Ghana, including even Niger, if you can capture enough crude within this Gulf of Guinea, and the average crude price hovers around 65, between 65 and 67. Then, if all that crude is fed into Dangote Refinery that has the capacity to refine 700,000 barrels from this January per day, then the price of refined products within this sub-region may also be very stable. That means the basket of the crude available within the Gulf of Guinea, the average price is hovering between 67 and 70. So he may be able to refine, and the price may be relatively stable.
Okay.
But if he now, here is the mix, if he now have a problem where he gets some volume within Nigeria, not much, at reasonable price, say $70, and he has to get the remaining from outside this ecosystem, this Gulf of Guinea. And those ones now hover 70 something. By the time he brings them into the refinery and refine and do cross-cutting analysis, the average price may again scale up a bit.
I get that.
It may not be 699, it may go a bit up. So all these are the vagaries of the commodity called crude oil. Any slight threat from any part of the zones in the world that produces crude can spark the price up. So we cannot sleep. Energy market, you don't sleep. It's too dynamic. So I think for now, we should just say, okay, let's hope NNPC and the local producer of crude can increase production that can allow Dangote Refinery access more crude locally with an average price of maybe 64 to 70. If that can happen, that is good enough.
Okay.
Otherwise, let us just remain open that the vagaries will continue like this. We'll be managing the situation like this. It's not static.
Okay, let's look at the issue of importation, licenses and all of that. We've seen the back and forth with regards to this. And now we are seeing that Dangote Refinery is showing capacity. But with figures that we've seen and your own understanding, do you think that the refinery can satisfy Nigeria's consumption? I mean, daily consumption. The last I checked from NMDPR, I think it was about 71 million liters a day. That's what I saw. So I think it's back up again. It was about 50 something to 60. But really, do you think there is that capacity to meet without importing petroleum products?
The answer is capital yes. Dangote Refinery capacity as it is today can meet Nigerian needs in petroleum products. PMS, aviation fuel, Kero, AGO, it can meet. If he gets feedstock, adequate feedstock, he can meet our requirement. All these politics and controversies about, because he produced this small one, is because we are not serious. The importation of refined products, the end has come. The curtain is drawn already. I have said it this week in more than 3 places now. So the curtain is drawn.
Go ahead.
And why? The new regulator, the new appointed regulator, I expect him immediately to carry out a forensic audit of the trend of importation in the last 5-10 years. Volume, quality, where were they delivered to? Who are the people who deliver them? So this must happen. So once he takes possession of that type of important information, so the data shows quality, quantity, where they come from, who are the people, how the payment were made, and so on and so forth. That document becomes the platform on which he's going to move. So once we verify that this is the volume we are importing, then it's easy for him now to sit down with Dangote Refinery and say, please, you have capacity to refine this volume I see them bringing in. So let's talk. How can you move up your refining activities? Dangote will now say, okay, I will bring more crude to feed into this place. If I can get locally, at what price? Am I going to pay premium? Or if I cannot get locally, I will look for from somewhere and refine and give it to the domestic market. So the job is cut out now between the new regulator and Dangote Refinery. But the question of all those political statements, all those hanky-pankies that the previous guys was playing about, it was all political. It was not the reality. The reality is here now.
The issue of argument in some quarters for marketers of monopoly, how does that also come to you? Thinking, my argument is this. In a deregulated market, many of us would say it should be a competitive market. It should be open for competition. So, where are we with regards to implementing our PIA to the latter?
Good. See, the word monopoly, I would have loved that we remove that word from
many
the
people don't know.
vocabulary. Yeah, because people seem not to even know the foundation of the economy of this country. In the first place,
Yes.
where was even the capacity to refine? In the last 35 years in this country, the capacity to refine crude oil was in the hand of government refineries. 3 refineries combined, 445,000. So the monopoly of who supplied petroleum products in Nigeria was in the hand of NNPC. NNPC was a vertical monopolist. They are in exploration, production of crude, exportation of crude, refining of crude, storage of petroleum products, and distribution and retailing. NNPC was in this. Now, come and look at it. Just take economic history and look at it.
Okay.
Everything that government has been involved in Nigeria since 1960, none have succeeded. The only thing we are left with today is just the sovereignty of Nigeria kept by President Tinubu for us. Economic sovereignty, we lost it. So only Aliko Dangote built a refinery now that has made us now again to now have a semblance of economic sovereignty. We are about to regain our economic sovereignty because we never even had it. It was with the structured colonial masters. They structured the economy of this country and they based it on trading, import, export. Because we were an outpost, we were a farm. London was home, Paris was home. I hope you understand me now. So they come to the farm, Nigeria was farm. So now to go back to the issue.
Yes.
The people who talk about monopoly didn't understand what they are talking about. The refinery has come as a natural monopoly. Why? The scale. So why didn't Ipman or Dapman, all of them, why didn't they put their money together and build one refinery also, or build a world-class petrochemical so that they will be the dominant operator there? Then if you watch today, what is NNPC left with today? If you yank off all these refineries as business units and they stand alone, and you say NNPC, stay on your own now, NNPC will just be left in upstream. They have no business in midstream, downstream anymore. So when people come and say, oh, Aliko Dangote Refinery is heading for monopolies, what a misplaced word. Which monopoly? The marketplace was left open all these years for importers and their local collaborators and rentiers who have milked you and me, because you cannot enter into that cartel if you don't have political godfather, which is what they have been doing. So they have milked the country enough, and we are saying that curtain is drawn. And we will not stop talking until the curtain is completely drawn like cement. So the Aliko Dangote Refinery is not a monopolist. He is a pioneer in the sector that was ruined by government. So what government could not do in the oil and gas industry, Aliko Dangote and the refinery has done it. And the people who have been benefiting from the old order, they are the one now feeding all sorts of nonsense in the space there, because the space is so open for anything to be fed into it. So you and me have to be careful about what we take to breathe in and digest from the space. So we should now help to project out the reality. The reality is that the refinery is not a monopolist. If you double that refinery to 1.4 million barrels per day. So he covers the entire Africa. So will the mine in Angola now come and say, oh, or the mine in Ethiopia, or the mine in Uganda come and say, oh, Dangote is a monopolist in Africa, so he will not buy the product? Or South Africa that is in energy deficit now. So they will not come to Dangote to buy the product. So you, Nigeria, who is accusing him of being a monopolist, you have enough crude under the ground. So set up your own refinery now, and let's see in the next 5 years if you can build a refinery of even 100,000 barrels. How many Nigerian rich people who made money from all this importation racket they have been doing the last 40 years, how many of them have invested money in setting up a refinery? So the word monopoly, we should remove it from our vocabulary because it irritates some of us who know that the word monopoly should not. Where is even the market structure? Where is the market structure? The market structure was sellers' market, not even buyers' market. The sellers were just dictating to us. They give us the product that you don't know the quality. They give us the volume that they inflate. They will tell you 40 million today. Tomorrow they will tell you 60 million. One time they even told us 90-something million. And yet we have not verified that until now.
Yes.
We have not still verified that.
To get, no.
So please, it's not a monopoly. The capacity that refinery has brought to the market space in Africa is just what we need to emancipate us.
Now, we have new leadership at the NMDPRA and the NUPRC, and a lot is expected from these two. We've seen their CV, professionals to the core. Let's set an agenda for them. What are your expectations? You've talked about some things you expect from the NMDPRA, I guess, but let's look at both parties, because there was a lot of work also going on around the NUPRC, increasing rigs and all of that, because I believe we need to improve production. If we have more crude supply, I think that even Dangote Refinery will be able to also get more crude, access more crude, and refine more.
Correct. Downstream, midstream, downstream, I have told you, that regulatory authority, their job is cut out for them. They must carry out a forensic audit to establish volume,
very important.
Quality,
very
and the people who were involved, and at what price. So I hope Malam Seidu will be able to do an appropriate job. He should assemble the best experts in the world to help him track all the vessels, everything that has happened. Going to the upstream. Upstream, as I've told you, it's a different ballgame entirely. Upstream, all these years since 1957, is from where Nigeria gets money. But the cancer that takes that money is called midstream, downstream. All the profit you make upstream all these years, the midstream and downstream is where we have been sinking the money. Petroleum Equalization Fund, the refineries. This is how we have lost all the gain we will have made to build world-class schools and health centers. We were pumping it in the midstream, downstream. So we were losing money from all the money we're supposed to make from upstream. Now, since the NUPRC is set out to try to modernize the upstream activities.
Yes.
You know, the upstream activity is largely acreage administration, licensing of new oil blocks, onshore, shallow water, offshore. Now, the good thing is that the immediate past chief executive, Benga Komolafe, had already developed a framework that the new lady should just work on it.
I think they started bidding already.
Yes.
The bidding process.
It should just continue with that job. Assemble the best brains and experts. I trust her. I have not related closely to her, but she was in the system in NNPC.
Yeah, she's been in NNPC.
It's time now for her to prove her mettle, because she was never a boss in NNPC. She was sub. Now, she should sit down and say, look, I need to open up more wells, more oil fields, to bring out more crude.
More crude.
So whatever I need to accelerate that and fast track that, I want to do it on this desk. Nigeria have lost enough time. We have lost in almost everything. So the small window we have to gain momentum and rebuild this country is being spearheaded now by President Tinubu through the deregulation and the unification of the exchange rate. And then some economic reform he's trying to put in place. I hope he can reassemble the economic management team that will help him drive this from January. It is very important for him to do that. If he leave it as it is, we will lose more by the end of next year. All the gain we think we are trying to achieve now, if we leave the economic team as it is today, without some push, additional push, we will lose. So I want this lady to now sit down and say, look, I need to open up more frontiers for crude oil production. Whatever is required to accelerate it, I'm ready to do it. By that, you now get volume. If you can hit 2.5 million today with our population of about 200 million,
yes.
2.5 million barrels per day may make us to almost break even.
Yes.
In terms of our need to spread across. Okay, then we are talking. As long as we are still below 2 million, we are not talking. So I think the lady have a Herculean job in front of her, and she should not get involved in all these politics. She should just go ahead. If there are weak places in the commission that will not allow her to accelerate, it should immediately tidy up those weak places. These days, it's not rocket science. It's just common sense that he can apply. So I think we have a job there. By that, you are able to get enough crude to allocate to Dangote Refinery. Take the 445,000 barrels per day and just say it's dedicated to the refinery that has capacity, that is functional, efficiently operated. What is wrong in doing that? It's a political decision. I hope you understand now. And the price template is there. Either you call it naira or you call it dollar. Just fix it. This thing, you see, when you build a bigger cake, there's enough to reach everybody. The ocean water, nobody can drink the ocean water alone, from Badagry to Bakassi. You will have constipation. So the ocean water is so large for one person to drink. So why are some people thinking like this? Look, open up the country like this. That's what America did. So that people you just have good regulatory framework that we checkmate everybody. Take, for example, why if I were the regulator, anybody who have not adjusted his price, it's not by force, but I will take note of it and say, why are these people not adjusting their price to reflect the market leader's price? The market leader today in oil business is Dangote Refinery. Is the market leader. If he sniff, we catch cold. Yeah. So if I were the regulator, I will start checking immediately. Why are they not adjusting? Why? So, but they carry the body. The people who are holding the stock, the cost, holding cost, their interest rate. So that body is for them. Maybe after Christmas, the reality will come. They will now know that, oh, the volume of sales daily will drop after Christmas, normally. After Christmas and New Year, because people go back to reality. The pressure to travel now come down. So let's watch these two bodies, the upstream and the downstream. Their jobs are properly cut out. I believe the downstream man have a job at his hand, and I believe he will face it squarely. They have good CVs in terms of CV. The remaining is the chemistry, attitude to work, their sense of urgency and emergency. This country today, we are in an intensive care. People think at times I'm exaggerating this thing. We are really in the intensive care. So I still believe that President Tinubu can pull us out of that place. I believe so.
No, the outlook for the entire sector. Now, you've said authoritatively that Dangote Refinery can meet our supply
capital needs. Yes.
And we hear that from January, I think import licenses will not be issued to see what the situation is. But what is your own outlook for the entire industry with all of these issues?
The outlook for 2020, I'm developing a document to be published very soon.
I would love to see that.
On the 2026 and the projection ahead on the energy sector of Nigeria and Africa. The projection is like this. Let us do like this. All other things being equal, as they say in economics. Charteris paribus.
Yes.
The
business as usual.
Yes. The landscape will be shifting rapidly in 2026 with the dominant role of Dangote Refinery. The landscape will be shifting. If NNPC, as it is today, can focus more on upstream exploration and production, also, they may record some additional volumes of crude and gas. Gas is important because all the gas-based industries in Nigeria, they're in trouble.
Yes.
You cannot sell gas at 4.8 and you want to be competitive when some part of America get gas at $1.3 to their industries. In Saudi Arabia, the aluminum smelting there get gas at 11 cents per 1,000 scoff. So in Russia, they get in some places at even also 20 cents to their smelting, to their iron and steel. So if our government, my own projection is that next year, the president, the president, this January, he should relinquish Minister of Energy. These are part of my own projections. He needs a young, energetic person to hold that office, or energetic lady to hold that office for her. The situation of the country is in 2026 is work 24 hours as if there is no hour to even sleep. So I will say that next year is going to be very safety. Yeah, I can see it coming. It will be very safety. Security and safety will remain an issue. We need to contain it. If we cannot eliminate it, let us minimize it. Agricultural investment is very important next year. The president should encourage the states, like Niger State, to open up more lands and secure those lands for our rural people to go back to farm. Next year, we should invest more in primary health and primary education. Next year, deliberately, so as to capture as many children as possible in primary education. Primary health to look after basic ailments and diseases so that we can have more population that are strong to produce. Having said this, let's go back to the energy sector. Electricity remains a problem. The electricity poverty of Nigeria and Africa as a whole will continue because the fundamentals for the electricity industry in Nigeria is not yet addressed. The money that the country needs to develop power, we cannot get it by charging band A or B or C from consumers like you and me who just watch Owambe. That's not where the money to develop electricity will come from. If you like, charge any amount per kilowatt hour, it will not bring it. So what I think the president should do next year is to call 10 Nigerians that are serious-minded, led by Aliko Dangote, and say, Aliko, give me 5,000 megawatts from your zone, from the cluster area you are. You, Professor Batinaji, give me 5,000 in the cluster you are in Aba. Give me what you need to bring this out, A to Z. Then call another person like Bua and say, which location are you? Which corridor are you? Give me that money. Call somebody in another part of the country, or if you can even call Femi Otedola, you are in Geregu. Give me additional output there to the grid. Like the people in Kanji, they are already in hydro. Ask them, what can they add? Solar. Can they add solar? So if you don't energize the country through current electricity, current power, you will not be able to produce at scale for export. So your small scale and medium scale will just remain theory. Bank of Industry will continue to lose money. Because when they give money to small scale or medium scale, those one electricity costs will kill the profit margin. So they cannot compete. So now, even you cannot process your mining materials when you don't have cheap electricity. So these are the issues to transform natural materials to usable material. You need energy. So the next year is going to be very safety. We are not here, you and me, we are not trying to prophesy. No, I follow scientific trend of things, how it is going. The financial sector and insurance, they can do well, but they also have a problem. The limit to which they could go, interest rate is already the one affecting them. How many projects can they put money into? What will be the return on investment? How will that interest rate? So these are the issues that it's not within this. Thank you for even giving me this luxury of time. So let's just say that next year, the president needs to babysit this economy with a new economic management team. The president will relinquish the ministerial slot he's holding with him. It's of no use to him. He's still the president of the whole country. After God is number one. So why can't he be minister of education? Why can't he be minister of health? Why can't he be minister of defense?
No, well, you know,
why is he minister of petroleum?
In the oil and gas industry, he worked with
let me tell you, by today's scientific level of development in the world today, what is so important about being minister of petroleum? Tell me.
I was thinking.
Tell me what is so important.
Conversation with Mr. Kunle. I might take all the time.
Okay, all the minister of petroleum in the past, including NNPC, Dangote single-handedly built what is more than everything all of them have done since 1914. But that does not mean I'm saying Dangote Refinery is all and all to transform the economy. We need other supporting investment. But I'm just trying to let you know that that official status, I'm the Minister of Petroleum, is of no use. In fact, it's primitive. The president is too civilized to do that. President Tinubu is too educated to do that. If I were him, I would do it differently. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Kunle is an energy expert. Thank you so much for bringing our
so please
to all of
let us
topics.
Encourage the people who are hanging the prices and they are going to sponsor some social media to say that Dangote want to be monopolies. That's why he crashed price. The future, he will raise price in future. Look, that future, leave it for God. We will address it when we reach that river. You understand me now? For now, everybody should comply and go and queue in Dangote Refinery to load products.
Thank you so much again for your time, and I wish you a Merry Christmas. Mr.
Thank you very much for giving me
coming.
this opportunity. It's my first time in this your beautiful studio.
Thank you so much.
I used the one downstairs last time.
Thank you so much.